Big mountain range up in front of us. That's the home of dogs around here. So closer we get to them, the more sign I think we'll see. It's hard to see it there. There's dog tracks right there and there. They're just scuffed. Oh, there's, you can see them a lot better. See just the discoloration on top of that lighter coloured sand. Those dogs are going along there this morning. This is another good pinch point here. We might drop another trap in here. What do you reckon, Skunko? Skunk. Yeah, give us a smart look. Oh, look at the sign here. Sit, dog, sit. Look at this. They've been playing away here. Look at that. Scratching. Dogs all over it. Just come back and do it again tonight, I say. And we'll see what happens to you guys. What do you reckon, Skunk? What do you reckon, man? Hey? What's there? Whatever it is you said, I'm marking it. Who's been there, bloke? Buggy, 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 go for buggy, go for buggy, buggy, buggy. Skunk. Go for buggy, 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 buggy. Good boy, buggy, 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 buggy. Okay. I set one over there on that point. I've set one on the opposite side opposing in case the wind is blowing the opposite way. And I've put a fat base, like a food base on that one, urine on that one. And the dogs have been here, so I think any dog that comes down through here will pull up here to investigate. So I don't need too much lure to slow them down. I reckon there's been somebody else in here trapping, because there's old bits of paper there, and there's a little piece of pig hide here that Skunk marked on before. So yeah, just putting it all together, I reckon that this is where one of the guys has had traps, probably no more than a week ago. The dogs are back here, but they're probably educated. So let's see if I'll fool them with these two. If I can't fool them with this, if they start scratching these traps out, well then we'll go to plan B, which is setting blind traps in and yeah, a few other little sneaky things. We'll get them. Well, this is a spot here that at least two other guys are trapping in. One guy knows his stuff and he's done pretty well. He's got quite a few dogs here, but he can't do it all the time. He can only do it, a few days, and then he's got to have a break for a while. So I still think there's a lot of dogs coming through here. Place over here where he's had his trail cam, and there's been like a bone dump here, and here's one of the bones, the skull of a cow that's been taken down the road by these dogs. So I'm working on the assumption, let's say working on the assumption that the dogs are getting wised up to over there. They're saying that's where traps are, right? So I think they're going to be a bit hawky around that area. This is where they've carried a bone to. So what I'm going to do is use the bone to actually hold the bait or the lure for me, which will be, I'll use some of the fat that I'll put in there. So they'll be expecting to find fat, grease, marrow in bones anyway. That's something that they'll be looking for. So it's not unfamiliar with them that there should be some fat around a bone. That makes sense. Sometimes don't even make sense to me, so don't worry about it. So I'm just going to tie off on the little tree, put the cable in underneath, put the bone on top of it, and set the trap a fair way back off the bone. So if they can smell it and they come up and they're a bit hawky, they're going to be still a fair way off the scent when they're going to be in range of the trap, and I'll try and have it just a very blank trap, nothing much around it. It's probably something that they could step around and maybe not hit it, but then on the other hand, if they do put their nose into the bone to try and get at the fat, they're likely to put a back leg or something, a back foot in it. So I still think it'll work. So I'll just tie off on this little brigalow, and it'll be sturdy enough. That's all we need to tie off onto. If I had some stakes here with me, I'd probably stake down. This is a circumstance where I'd put a stake in underneath, but these work just as good. Just tie off. The thing I like about these is there's no noise. Put them in very quickly and there's no noise. Right, so I can put that to there, and I'll put the trap probably right back here somewhere. So I'll dig that out. A little bit of breeze now, so it's just starting to cool down a little bit. Take my topsoil, put it to one side. Beautiful soft digging here too after that rain, so it wouldn't have been a nice day if the ground was really hard, because I'd have been losing a lot of sweat. As it was, I was losing a fair bit, but it would have been ridiculous. My chain and everything right in the side of the hole here. Seeing this nice soft digging. Put my chain in there. And I might just pull that right down in under the trap. I might just put a very simple line right. And when it's weather like this, I'll just use foam underneath the trap. These traps have all just been just treated with tannin off the black wattles. Right. Chain tucked in there. Try and pull that cable tight with the trap actually on top of it. Usually if I've got a few staples of wire, I use bends of wire about that long. If I get a cable that wants to pop out of the ground, that's getting a bit of memory in it, I'll just put a little staple of wire over the top of it and push it down like in a place like that, and it'll hold it in place. I'll see if I've got something. Next best thing, I've got a tent peg. firmed up fairly well, so it feels like the rest of the ground. They put a foot just to one side. I don't want them thinking that, gee, there's a soft patch there. Could be a trap. I just don't know how spooky these dogs are going to be. The first dog that comes along might be one that's never seen a trap before in its life. Or it could be a dog that's seen, you know, a dozen of its friends caught in traps. So we don't really know what we've got. It's a bit of a Russian roulette, you could say. I'll get that top sand dusted over the top of that. That doesn't look too bad. Take the dust off the grass. Very, very simple. Have a dog walk around here, sniff that from a distance. Nice bare patch to put his foot. Let's see, we'll just go blind. And the light rain is just falling right on dark. At least that'll kill our scent a little bit, and a little bit of rain, just not too much. That should be okay. So that's day one. I don't know how many traps we'd have in. We'd have probably 20, 22, I think. So we've done not too bad. We've covered a lot of country. I'm sort of feeling quite confident that we've got a dog tomorrow morning. So let's see what we've got. Couldn't help myself. I'll put one more trap in here. It's nearly dark. There's a storm sort of out on the horizon. I thought, righto, we'll just put one in here. It's going to be difficult because this soil here, it's very light coloured on the top, but as soon as you disturb it, it's straight black soil underneath. And yeah, anything, you just can't hide it. You just can't hide. If you try and put a trap in here, you can't hide it. So I've gone on the opposite. I'll put my trap in there. Right, you see how the ground is really light. You disturb it and it's black. So I've put a dig hole there, like as if somebody, you know, a dog's dug something out. I've put a scratch mark, okay, just like a dog has scratched away at there, at that side. And I've put some dog urine, some dominant dog urine in on that little patch there. So if they're coming around there, they should sniff that. But I've also scratched a little bit of fresh fat off that beast from last night on the barbed wires of the fence. So there's something else there. Working on the thought that if a dog comes here, it's like as if there's another dog has marked a spot, he's dug at something, there's food there, something's going on. I want them to come around here and investigate this. But because there's a fair bit of disturbance, there's not one spot there. If they're going to scratch, they could start scratching over where the dig hole is, and or where I've put the scratch marks, and they might just step on that trap. Let's see how it goes. Good morning, here we are, heading out on day 2 to check our traps after our first night. We'll go and check them first because it's going to be a hot day in case something's in them. I've left it a little bit longer than normal to get going because I didn't want to get round too early and spook things away from the traps. But I think if I go now, I can check them and then I'll spend the rest of the day setting traps on the other side of the property because we've got another 20,000 acres to do over there. So yeah, it's going to be a big day, and let's see what happens. What do you reckon? Hey? What do you reckon? Hey? Brandon? We've got the big Chansey with him as well. Chansey, he's hiding. Chansey. Chansey, are you hiding? You hiding? You hiding because you think, I'm going to get kicked out of here in a second. No, you're all right, Chansey boy. You're all right, boy. Japanese snipe there. What do you reckon? Come up on the first trap set. Got a mob of wieners. What have you been doing, kiddos? Wrecking things? The trap is still intact. Good. Good, skunk. What I'll try and do here this morning is just look over my tracks from yesterday, see if there's been any dogs come and just investigate where we've been. There's been a couple of dead weaners back here in a paddock, and they got cleaned up, chewed out in a couple of weeks, not much left there at all. So I'm not really going to trap where they are. I'm just trying to work out where the dogs would be leading in to get to there, and we'll trap on those lead ins, sort of on pinch points where the animals, you know, neck in on a gully or creek crossing or somewhere where the grass and brush is high. They'll usually take that easier route through a gully somewhere. So there'll be those pinch points, and that's where we'll concentrate our traps as we usually do. And you know, I'm not telling you guys how to suck eggs. A lot of the guys and gals that are watching this, I can see from you know, just posts and that you're putting up that there's a lot of great trappers out there, and I thank you for joining in on our humble little channel. If I can give across some of the stuff that we do, if it helps you at all, bless you. We're all in this together. Just pulled up here at this gateway, and threw the gate open to get through. Looking here, didn't look to be much cattle sign. So took the gate through, you look, nothing. There's my boot tracks, nothing. So look here, fresh track from this morning. Look at him. There it is, nice and clear. Big dog, straight along the track. So right-o. He ducked through on the corner here, I reckon. By the look of it. He didn't come through there, he's come through on this harder ground under the gate. So I reckon we might put something here. We might put a trap over here on a drag, so if he gets caught he goes away from the barbed wire, he doesn't hook himself up in the barbed wire. Put a trap there. Yep, if he gets caught he'll go that way probably. This one here, same thing, probably on one of those rails. Just hook him on one of those rails. If he gets caught there, he'll take that somewhere else. Now, a lot of people from overseas might not have seen these things here before. These are your spear traps. Put in to funnel cattle through. Right, if you want to catch cattle, you'd have your water down in a place like this down here. And you get your cattle used to going through a spear like that, through a opening, and usually there's another one beside it so that they can come in one way and they go out the other. Then you have your rails set up like those steel posts there, and the cattle get used to pushing those steel posts away to walk through, and they then push to get out, right? And it teaches them. So after a while, they learn that's the way to come into water, and all you need to do then is shut off your exit so that they can't get out the exit, and they push through, they can't get back out. Now, spears like this were used in the days before helicopters, when all you had were people on horses and they had to bash their way through this stuff, and it was a lot thicker. This was before blade plows and before bulldozers with chains and all that sort of stuff. This was tough going. This was really tough country to muster, and this was just one of the ways that they had to make things a little bit easier and saved a lot of lives. Okay, I'm just standing here. I've just filmed that little section there about the spear trap. I can hear a dog howling up ahead of me, and I've got a trap up here. That's where that skull was. I put the blind trap beside the skull. Yep. We've got our dog. He's probably a kilometre up here. Yep, hear him howling. Righto, we've started. I'm a bit blind here. So I might go out and have a walk there first and see what I've got. Sit, dog, sit. That will be the dog that I saw the tracks of coming up through that last gateway. So big old dog, cunning dog I'd say. Let's get it shot. It's hard to film and shoot at the same time. Here, Chancey, no, Chancey, up, don't, up, no. Well, this is where the guys have been trapping. So this is a dog that's been dodging them. And we got him on a blind set. Just sort of by, yeah, back foot catch. Sit down, sit. Yeah, and dog, back foot catch, and that was just done with that skull with the fat in it, lying there. I thought they might be a bit hawky here, so that's why I set that skull the way it was, up against the tree, and put my trap out off it as a blind trap, just in the dust, and it's worked. Back foot catch, he's probably come round, put his nose on the skull, put his back foot in. So hasn't been in there long, hasn't been in there very long at all. First one down.